Now, to continue with our discussion, we are now on the fifth component of a campaign, which is the resource mobilization. Now, resources can be in cash or in kind, and through the information and media work, the general public gets to know about community issues and is motivated to support the people's cause directly or indirectly. And there could be an outpouring of goodwill, of cash for the people's organization or community's current campaign or long-term plan. For coalition or alliance work, it is an important component since it draws other groups to participate. In addition, it also broadens the reach of information as well as strengthens the impact of a campaign. The more organizations are involved, the better chances to target system that will take notice. Now for the mass action, this aims to confront target system in dialogue or negotiation. Now we will discuss the step-by-step campaign planning. There are 12 steps. First is a situational analysis, followed by the objective setting, then determining the people to be mobilized on the target of the campaign. Next would be defining the campaign, then identifying the slogans or calls, then deciding on strategies and tactics to be used. Then after that would be the determination of forms and methods of action. Then the building the campaign machinery. Then the ninth would be defining the information, education, and media liaison plans. Next is alliance work. Then the budget or budgeting. Then the 12th is the assessment and summing up. Now let's discuss first the situational analysis. Now, if you still can remember, this was already discussed under Module 4, Situational Analysis. But in relation to campaign, situational analysis involves the following: correct identification of issues, then the issue analysis entails rooting out the causes of the issue at hand, link specific issue with general issues and demands of the community, and it also involves identification of people or institution. Now, for correct identification of the issue that can mobilize the broadest number of people sectorally or multi-sectorally, as well as elicit the sympathy and support of a lot more people in or out of the community. For the issue analysis, for instance, in a farming community where conversion of farmlands to commercial, residential, and industrial use is rampant, the use of land conversion may be rooted to the medium-term agricultural development program of the government. So this said program reorients the rural economy towards production for exports, land reform as priority, and sacrifices farmlands to regional industrial centers. The second is the objective setting. So objective setting answers the following questions. Why is the campaign being actualized at this period of the community's life? What purpose will the campaign serve? What are the immediate and long-term benefits of the campaign for the community? And what conditions will be created with the implementation and completion of the campaign? In the third step, which is the determining of the people to be mobilized and the target of the campaign, the following questions should be answered. Who will participate in the campaign? Who among them will be the primary actors or secondary actors? Who or what entity is being addressed by the campaign? What can help and hinder the campaign? And who or what entity will react to or against the said campaign? Now, for the fourth step, it involves four categories. Defining the campaign goes in four categories: the nature, type, phases, time frame. Now, in defining the campaign in relation to its nature, it must answer the questions: will it be antagonistic or non-antagonistic? Will it be confrontational or non-confrontational? Or does the nature of the campaign coincide with the objectives? Now, in defining the campaign in relation to type, it should answer the questions: will it be a political, educational, informational, or organizational campaign? Will it be a campaign unique to the community or based on an issue that cuts across all sectors or communities? So, defining the campaign in relation to phase must answer the questions: what actions must be undertaken at the onset of the campaign? What activities must immediately follow or coincide with the first phase? What could be the highlights of the culminating stage of the campaign? In relation to time frame, defining the campaign should answer the following questions: how long will the campaign last, and what is the time frame for each phase? In identifying the slogans or calls, which is the fifth step, it is important that slogans are important to campaigns because they remind what the campaign is all about. Slogans are also the rallying point for the community who initiated the campaign and or for those who see a stake in the issue. There could be a lot of slogans that could be used. Example is no oil price increase, justice for Juan de la Cruz, etc. For the sixth step, which is deciding on strategies and tactics. When we say strategy, this determines the direction of the campaign at given stages in the resolution of the issue. It is concerned with the elaboration of a corresponding plan for the disposition of members involved in the campaign. The following must be determined in building strategy: to whom the campaign should address, who among the members will become leaders for the campaign, who will become secondary leaders, and are the members ready or unable to implement the campaign until its resolution. So on the other hand, tactics determine the line of conduct of community members. An example for this, in campaign involving hunger strike, the community organizer or members must be able to determine when it is time to stop the hunger strike or who among should stop or start fasting. Tactics also means determined efforts in carrying out this line of conduct by replacing old forms of activities and committees, slogans with new ones. For the seventh step, which is the determination of forms and methods of action. So when we say forms and methods of action, these are activities that facilitate the attainment of campaign objectives as quickly as possible which require a creative spirit, imagination, and ingenuity. It is said that a method of action can only be considered appropriate if it can actually respond positively to the following criteria. First criteria that it needs to respond is that it satisfies the requirements of and is suited to the concrete conditions of the community. Next criteria is its implementation can raise the consciousness of the target audience and rouse them to action. And the last criteria is that it is likely to bring about the greatest possible success of the campaign. Methods of action are classified into legal, metalegal, and extra-legal. When I say legal methods, this refer to actions within the bounds of law or can be supported by jurisprudence. On the other hand, metalegal methods refer to actions that the law tolerates for as long as it does not specifically advocate or use violence or call for the overthrow of the state. Extra-legal methods are actions supported by international laws and or principles. An example for this is the International Declaration of Human Rights, but are not recognized by the government. So extra-legal methods are methods tagged as crimes by the state, since while not openly advocating for armed overthrow of government, it is seen as a threat to national security. So for the eighth step, which is building the machinery, campaign machineries require the following committees. There are 5 nerve centers full of spokespersons, working committees, support staff, marshals, and technical staff. The ninth step is defining information, education, and media liaison plans. These should answer the following questions. How should the issue be projected to the public? Who will be the target audience of what type of information? How should information be packaged? Which mass media do we want to utilize? Or what activities should be undertaken? The 10th step, which is alliance work, the following questions should be responded. Who will be invited to participate in the campaign? Who should a coordinated committee be set up, or an alliance or a coalition? What would be the minimum basis of unity? 11th, second to the last, the budget. How much is needed for the campaign, and how will the community raise the money? For the last step, which is the assessment and sum up, the following questions must be met. Did the campaign adhere to its plan? What are its effects on the people who participated or on the community or the supporters? What went wrong? What went right? What are the strengths and weaknesses? And what are the realizations or lessons that can be called from that experience? Now, in relation to campaign machinery, the leadership should ensure smooth implementation of the plan as well as coordinate all initiatives. Now, for the last part, which is the post-campaign, these include evaluation and summing up of the campaign, popularization of effective forms and methods of action, lessons and insights, and if necessary, planning for future campaigns. In doing summing up session, there are 4 guidelines that can be used. Campaign plan review, verifiable indicators of change, causes of alterations, and lessons and recommendations. And that ends with our discussion on the campaign planning and management. Thank you.